Do what thou wilt to behold the law. Stopped for the evening here at a truck stop in Big Cabin, Oklahoma. And thought I would pop in and just hang out if anybody shows up. Give it a few minutes, see if anybody pops in. Get a little bit of social juice flowing. Doesn't work out here, I'll move it to Facebook. I always get a few people over there when I do this. Oh, looks like we've got a couple people popping in. Oh shit. What's up, man? Speak up, people. Ask Oz anything. '93 Emperor Shaw. Indeed, Jay Daniels. Got to get the cheap stuff on the road because they don't sell the good stuff. How long have I been practicing ceremonial magic? Well, it depends if you count the time I was when I was doing Wicca when I first started. If you do, then about 1991. So you do the math. What's that? 30 years. Uh, Hello, 93 Jeffrey. Milwaukee. I pick up in Milwaukee every once in a while. It's a place we go up there. I'm trying to remember the name of that road. What does an I integration SI say supposed to have in it? I could not fucking tell you. I don't even know what that is, Alan. I did say ask me anything, but I didn't say I'd have an answer for everything. What the hell is an I integration essay? I couldn't tell you, Alan. I don't know what it is. There you go, Emperor Shaw. I'm having to learn how to actually show them again because my lips been down over my teeth for so many years, and I apologize. I'm not talking well. It's a pain in the ass to adjust to talking with this thing. But yeah, I've been kind of practicing, learning how to smile again. I took a couple of pictures and posted them on Facebook, and I was like, man, I look like an idiot. Like I don't even know how to smile anymore. It's yeah, it's pretty weird. It's all the way around a weird experience. Yeah, they came out pretty good. A little bit of an overbite and everything. No, Emperor, I've never visited OTO in Chicago. I knew Dionysus back in the 90s, and I saw him in Noticon, and we talked a little bit. I know, at least I know he was up there. He was actually the body master for a certain period of time. That was quite some time ago. I don't know if he's even still there, to be honest. But I mean, I obviously had some contact with some of the Chicago people online, but I don't really know. I'm not really real close with any of them, including Dionysus. I knew Dionysus years and years ago, and even then we weren't like buddy or anything, you know. He was a member of the body there in Austin when I got my Minerva in 1995, and so during that time period, you know, he was deaconing a lot of the masses and stuff that I was going to, and just in general hanging around all the time. As far as anybody else in Chicago, other than like meeting people at Noticon and stuff like that, I don't really, you know, I'm not close to anybody there. I'm in Illinois, in the Chicago area all the time, though. I mean, I'm in Aurora and Champaign, but I'm in Aurora a lot. There's two different places that's like the main place that we pick up to distribute in the Midwest is in Aurora. Aurora, these fucking teeth, I'm telling you. So I apologize for not pushing out more content. You know, I got to just kind of do it when I'm inspired, or else I feel like I'm just putting stuff out just to put stuff out. You know what I mean? And I don't like doing that. I want to put stuff out that, you know, I want to put things out that I feel like are important for me to talk about, or that I'm inspired to talk about at the moment. I mean, I could just put out random bullshit videos, but, you know, that doesn't do anybody any good, and it just gives people the impression of just shoving shit down their throat to make money on YouTube, and that's not what I'm about, you know what I mean? I make hardly anything on YouTube, and when I was hitting it real hard and doing this channel and my stock channel, and doing videos almost every day on both of them, I still was only, you know, I was pulling probably a couple $100 a month off of it, and you know, which is something, but you know, as it stands, like if I'm not making videos constantly, you know, it might take me 8 months to even get up enough for them to pay me out something, you know what I mean? So you know, it's not like I'm making a ton of money off of it or anything, even when I am just like pumping out content. So you know, there was a time when I deleted all of the content on my channel that that was me just like pontificating on shit, you know, and made it just be the readings. Then I started the Oz Speak series and did that, you know, slowly. And then at a certain point, you know, people have been pushing me for years saying, man, you know a lot more than you know, think you do, and stuff. So that's when I decided to start like kind of putting some of my own thoughts out there, and I will do that more. I mean, I'm not done or anything. I just, you know, was real inspired there for a while and had a lot to talk about, and you know, now I've got some things I'd like to talk about in videos, but you know, currently I'm learning how to talk again. I probably sound drunk, and I'm not. I'm taking like 2 little shots off of this. But this thing, the top one in particular, you know, it's got a pallet on it. It goes all the way back there, and man, it makes it hard to talk. Like everything your tongue does is on plastic instead of on your palate, so it's super weird. See, what did you say, Danny? Just because people, who'd you fuck up and message, Shane? And wake them up. Yeah, if you've got that app open on your phone and you just like leave stuff open, it'll say you're on when you're not. You know, it might be running like in the background and not at the front of the screen and just sitting there. It could be while you're asleep. I don't really know exactly how it works, but yeah, it's definitely sometimes will show you people online who aren't. I don't really ever. I try not to call people on it because, man, it aggravates me when just randos just call me up on Facebook and shit. What are we doing? I'm not going to be your dancing monkey. You got to ask me some questions. I don't have a lecture prepared to teach you anything. So I'm just here to bullshit. It always feels odd with these, especially with a random live stream when I don't have anything planned. I feel like I watch the ticker and that people come in and then they just jump right back out. It's like, oh, he's not dancing and dancing a jig and singing a song, or you know, he's not whatever. I'm not being the dancing monkey or whatever. And that, I guess that's kind of what this YouTube thing's about. I see a lot of people that they get onto live stream and they are like doing tarot readings and shit like that. I was just in some guy's tarot thing and shot him a little super chat earlier. I can't remember where I found the guy, but I subscribed to him and noticed he was on. I popped in there and said hi, and he didn't know who the fuck I was. It was funny. And gave him a super chat. And he's like, yeah, send me your stuff on Instagram. And I was like, I don't Instagram, man. If you're really interested, Google me. You'll find it. So what we got? Come on. Dance for me. Tell me something. Watch that. Showing me comments here. What's my favorite incense? Frankincense, without a doubt. I love frankincense. I don't know what my personality type is. I've never done one of those tests. I don't have a favorite goetic spirit. I don't have a favorite archangel. Sorry. I wish I had a more interesting answer than that. Yeah, I love frankincense. It reminds me of the Gnostic Mass, and ever since I got turned on to frankincense, like it puts me in a certain headspace. Like I just love frankincense. I don't really care for the frankincense and myrrh mix. I don't really like myrrh. I like frankincense. I mean, I like some of the other stuff too. I mean, favorite textile magic besides Selena. So the first book that I ever learned any ceremonial magic from was Donald Michael Craig's, what's it fucking called? High Magic or something like that. I learned the LBRP from that book, and the Middle Pillar Ritual from that book. I assume that's still in print, but Have I done the Star Ruby ritual? Are you familiar with my channel at all, Alan? There's a video of me reading it and performing it from like 10 years ago or more. Thoughts on the Satanic Bible? That's whatever. I mean, LeVay stole shit from Enochian Magic, stole shit from Thelema, and just kind of ran with it. And, you know, it's whatever. Some people like it. It's not my thing. I kind of think it's a. I think it's kind of. I don't know. Thelema's the real Satanism, in my opinion, and all others are imitations. The LeVeyan Satanism is basically just atheism, which, you know, does appeal to me. I approach Thelema from more or less atheist perspective these days, more agnostic probably, but I don't know. I just prefer the real thing personally. You know, Thelema is a lot. It's very intellectually taxing. I mean, in order to really understand it on a level that helps you, I mean, other than just doing practices, like really to understand the philosophy takes a lot of work. Like as far as reading and comprehension and studying, kind of, at least to a certain degree, studying a little bit of tertiary material that Crowley refers to and shit. Like, and so it's not super beginner friendly. And you know, I really actually had a oh, it's dark in here. Yeah, let me get my light out. Really had a conversation about this while I was there getting my teeth pulled, and we had a party and we had a bunch of conversations. And but one of I think the things that works against Thelema as far as like spreading the whole world and shit is the fact that it's intellectually difficult, you know, and there's not a lot of material that, I mean, like even material that is supposed to be beginner material still is not really what I would consider simple, you know what I mean? And I don't really know how you make it simple, and the reason is because of the comment. And you know, we're not really supposed to just comment on the books of the law all the time. And you know, I have actually, Bubastis had a leadership meeting about a week ago, and I talked about the fact that I'm going to start developing a Thelema 101 course to be something, because, you know, something that was brought up to me during the conversations that were going on at that party by people who've been around for a long time, you know, at Bubastis, is that when they started coming around, we had all these classes and stuff, but 90% of the material just goes over the head of new people, you know what I mean? And it's hard, after you've been doing this for a very long time, it's hard for a lot of people to come and talk to beginners on their level and really explain things without going too crazy deep and confusing people. And so, you know, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come up with like a Thelema 101, like a 2 or 3 classes series, lectures, you know, super basic, super entry level, and then maybe do it a couple of times a year as we have more new people, just to kind of, you know, to kind of help out the new people and help them find the or whatever, and get some of that really basic information that might help them not only to find a little bit of direction, but to be able to help them absorb some of that more advanced, not necessarily advanced material, but, you know, because the basic material of Thelema is pretty intellectually dense. I mean, there's just no way around it. And if Thelema is ever going to grow into what Crowley envisioned it as. Like, we have to find a way to help people get up to the level where they can at least understand the more intermediate stuff, because a lot of intellectuals are attracted to Thelema because it is intellectual. So when you have a lot of these people who give lectures and stuff, they just go right over the head of people. And I'm trying to figure out a way to come up with some kind of a Thelema 101 type of course, whether it's one or like 2 or 3 installments that can be done, either a couple times a year or yearly or even quarterly, depending on what kind of people start coming around when we get back fully rolling again. And hopefully that'll be helpful. I'm the secretary of promulgation for our body, so it's kind of my job to figure out how to not only get people in the door, but and keep the word out about our events, but also, kind of member retention and stuff like that is in my wheelhouse or whatever. So I'm excited to be able to have that position. You know what I mean? It's something that I've wished that a body master would kind of give me control of for a long time, but it's never happened. And the new master, well, I say new, he was installed in January. Like, we're on the same page. So it's exciting. And in the end of November, we're supposed to go looking for a new space. And hopefully by the end of the year, beginning of next year, we'll have a new space and be able to actually start performing the mass and initiating again and stuff. COVID hit us hard, but right before the pandemic, like 2 or 3 months before all that stuff happened, our temple space was destroyed by a tornado. So all of our stuff has been in storage since before the pandemic. And so, as a result, it's a double-edged sword. Because Grand Lodge kind of shut everything down, like, it was helpful to us because we didn't have a lease or any rent that we were having to struggle with throughout this pandemic. I can only imagine how some people fared when it all went down. So we were kind of lucky in that sense that we kind of got a free out from our lease, and we were able to, not only did we fundraise right after the tornado to get a new space, but dues kept rolling in and stuff. And although that's largely tapered off now, we ended up with a significant bankroll that's just sitting there waiting for us to be able to get a space. So we're actually in a really good spot. We just kind of, there's been some clerical stuff that's been holding things up that is about to be rectified. And so, like I said, end of November, we're supposed to get together, 4 of us, and go out looking for a space and take the time off for it. And so I'm excited about that. I'm missing a bunch of comments. Yeah, this ring light's fucking bad bone, man. It's a ring light, USB powered. It's got a hook on it, so I can just hook it. That's what I use for all my live streams and shit like that when it starts getting dark outside. It's got a spot that I clip it and put it behind the phone, and man, that's turned way down. It's really cool. It's super cheap, and you can put it on really white or really yellow, or you can put it in the middle. Man, this son of a bitch is bright, dude. It'll put your eyes out. So was that entertaining? I kept some of y'all in here. How about that super chat? What else y'all want to know? Is anyone in here an OTO initiate? Eh? Eh? I'm always curious how many, what the percentage of the people who watch my videos are actually initiates. Not yet. And was that you asking me about Chicago, Emperor Shaw? Are you up there near Chicago, near that body? The thing is, right now, like all bodies are not even able to meet in person right now. I'm not. It depends on what the status of your county is and the county of the people. Oh yeah, you definitely have to come hang out first, Emperor. You can't just go get initiated. You have to get the application. You have to have two members sign it to sponsor you, and then it has to be sent to Grand Lodge. You have to pay your initiation fees, and then they have to schedule it. You definitely want to meet people and go hang out. And for the Minerval, people are pretty relaxed about who they sponsor, but they still want to meet you and get to know you a little bit before they're going to put their signature on your application. I am. Here. Depends on what organization, Emperor Shaw. I've never seen anybody get turned away from OTO for belonging to something else. There was some kind of a schism back in the 90s that had to do with some other organization. But if you're Freemason or whatever, nobody cares. Like, works just the same. And as long as you're free, which means you're not on parole or anything like that, you are free, you are of full age, which in the United States is 18, and you are of good report, which means that you're not on bad report in the OTO, then you have a right to the first 3 degrees of OTO. You can take Minerval first, second, third. And that's the only real requirements. Free, of full age, and of good report. You've got to get 2 sponsors to sign your applications. You've got to sign the indemnity form. You've got to pay your fees. You've got to be dues current with Grand Lodge. Except for Minerval's. Like with Minerval, the way it works is basically you can pay your fees. Your fee includes the first year of Grand Lodge dues. It's like $80 or something, I believe. And then as a Minerval, like if Minervals leave or whatever and they change their mind and leave, and then 5 years later they want to come back, they don't have to like catch up their dues or anything like that. They pay initiation fees and for the first degree, and then they can reactivate. If you're a first degree, the dues will continue to accrue, and there are some loopholes and stuff, but for the most part, beyond Minerval, so first and beyond, the dues will continue to accrue. So if you leave for a few years and then come back, you'll be able to come to public. You have to be caught up on. Okay, how do we get rid of this fuck? I guess they won't let me. There's got to be a way. Oh well. I wouldn't go look at their hot photo, just FYI. To boot, that photo person, oh wait, hide user on this channel. There we go. It just wouldn't let me do it before. I wouldn't know how to make anybody a moderator. Oh, okay, I guess I can, but I'm good. That very rarely happens in these, and I figured it out. So does my speech sound fucked up? Have you noticed or not? I notice. And other people so far, like in person, have told me they didn't notice. But, man, I notice. Yeah, toxic. There was somebody going, look at my hot photo here. I didn't see a link, but it was probably in there. The comments aren't exactly super easy on the phone right here. Oh, you can't tell? That's good, because I can tell. My C's and X's and my S's, like, sound really weird because of this. Okay, that's familiar, but I don't Order of the Temple of Astarte or something. I'm not familiar with it. Oh, poker onion. I don't know. I don't have any problem with any of these other orders. You know, other people that's their thing. You know what I mean? I'm not here to cast aspersions on any other orders. I don't know much about it. I know that back in the day, like in the 90s, the guy that we found OTO together that I lived with at the time, he had an old Betamax of Pope Runyon's video about summoning the Goetia stuff. We used to make fun of him, the way he talks and stuff. My buddy used to do a killer impression of him. I don't have any problem with the guy. I assume he's still alive, but yeah, I don't have any problem with his order. I don't know. Is that BOTA? Is that the BOTA or just OTA? I'm not familiar enough with it. No, that's Builders of the Hat or something. A lot of people enjoy Poke Runyon's work. You know, Goetia and stuff really has never been my thing. I mean, I've dabbled in it, but I got to be honest with you, I don't really do any kind of summoning or any of that stuff these days. I mean, you know, I do some personal mystical work on my, you know, like before I go to bed sometimes, meditation, stuff like that. You know, I do resh sometimes. I'm not religious with it in any way, shape, or form. But there was a time when I had a rigorous course of work that I was doing every day, but I've just kind of, I settled into this spot where I feel comfortable where I'm at. I don't feel like I really need to do all that stuff. Therefore, there was a period of time there where I felt like I needed like an anti-resh. Like all I was doing constantly was just focusing on magic and Thelema and shit nonstop to the detriment of the rest of my life, you know. And so there was a point in time where I needed to focus on other things and get my shit together, you know, and it's pushed me in this super practical direction, which, I mean, for our online events that we do and stuff, I think that it's a good perspective to have in there to bounce off of some of these other guys that that, you know, we have conversations back and forth. You know, I try to bring it into my life in a practical way, that helps me in my day-to-day life, and not necessarily just mentally, intellectually masturbating all the time. And because that, while that works for some people, for me, it draws me away from the things that are important, that allow me to do things like save for retirement, which, you know, I've never done because I was so hyper focused on promulgation and stuff for so many years. You know, I was just not focused on the things that are now, as I'm pushing 50, feeling much more important and urgent. And so, you know, it's a change in my perspective from being a 20-year-old to being a 45, 48-year-old. You know what I mean? Things change as you get older. Your perspective changes, and the things that, you know, your will evolves and changes. Yeah, I'm 48, Toxic. 48, I'm pushing 50. Getting there. I just mean that's around the time, around 45 was around started kind of having this realization of like, oh shit, like what am I going to do in 20 years when I haven't saved for a retirement? You know, there comes this point where if you haven't made certain preparations throughout the rest of your life, that you just kind of have this oh shit moment at a certain point. And for me, it was a big breakup, and I was forced to come back on the road, and I was like, man, I would have been fucked if I didn't have this trucking stuff to fall back on, you know. And even falling back on driving a truck is like, I basically gave up everything to do this because I'm just gone all the time. View on extraterrestrials. I believe that somewhere out there in the universe there is life, but I do not believe that they have ever visited our planet. And fucking Shane changes his name, and I think he's asking me serious questions and shit. You drive a dump truck. Oh, you're driving a rock truck, so a Class A, so you're driving a full size of like a rock truck, sand, gravel, and shit like that. Is it an end dump, or is it is it an end dump that raises up, or is it like one of the ones with the belt inside, or what are you driving? .48 footer, dirt, sand, and gravel. So you going to them concrete plants and shit. I drove a concrete truck for many years, and we had lots of end dumps in and out of there all the time. We had our own that would go and haul our sand and rock. I'm about ready to jump off of here. No super chats? I have to figure something out to eat. I got to be up early. I got to be in Texas, in Fort Worth, and I got to be there by 11, so I got to pick up in Mansfield at 1. So I'm about, what am I, 5 hours from there. So I need to get in there by around 11. Come back to Illinois. Right now I'm right at the turnoff. I'm at 44 and 69. Or 69, 69, which turns into 75 in there in Texas. So this is always the way we come through Missouri, hit Oklahoma right here in Big Cabin, and then take 69 all the way into Texas. And might take 75 to 635, or you might cut off tonight and go down to 35. Well, I'm going to jump off. 93. Appreciate y'all hanging out. And I'll see y'all on the next Emperor Shane. 93.